Welcome to episode 12 of Matthew Linity. I'm just going to start working through chapter 2. So looking today at the question, why does it say, and all of Jerusalem with him? When it says that Herod was disturbed, Herod was troubled, and all of Jerusalem with him. This turns out to be quite an important expression for setting the stage for how the book's going to end. Why does it say that? Okay, so just reading aloud the first 6 verses of Matthew chapter 2. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem, saying, Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star at its rising, and have come to worship him. And when King Herod heard this, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And after calling together all the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired from them where the Messiah was to be born. So they said to him, In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, And you, Bethlehem, land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah, for from you will go out a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel. I think I'll really just concentrate on one main question for this passage. And it's quite an ancient question. And that is, why is it that it says all of Jerusalem was troubled? So Herod's disturbed at the news that there's a newborn king. And it says all of Jerusalem. So why were the people of Jerusalem troubled by the news that the Messiah had been born? Shouldn't they have been glad? There's no attempt to say, oh, this is we should go and check this out. Like we should go and have a look in Bethlehem. We should travel with the Magi and have a look. If we ask this question with the story that we've got, like, is there an answer in the story? Is there an answer in the text that as we have it? Or is it just something that readers can be expected to know? Oh yeah, of course Herod would be upset. And of course everybody else would be upset, because if the king's upset, then that makes life very difficult for everybody else. Because, who knows, he might go on a killing rampage. He might become extra paranoid. He might, so on one level it's like pretty, we can have a pretty good guess at, well, if the king's not happy, then, everyone else is not going to be happy either. But on another level, you could probably look for an answer that is also in tune with the whole story, the whole storyline of Matthew. The whole book is working towards the end of the book, where Jesus will visit Jerusalem, and it's going to be the chief priests who are the most antagonistic towards Jesus out of all the groups. Anyway, so at every level, it's not just at the highest level that this is causing upsetness. This is like across the board. The whole city is disturbed. This is not considered to be good news. But you would expect that, okay, well, maybe it's supposed to be taken as good news, like the Messiah has been born. The Messiah has been born. Isn't that supposed to be good news to the people of Jerusalem? And so that really gets readers thinking about, well, why is this not good news? Why do they not want the Messiah? Is that because people in Jerusalem are not messianic? They're not looking for a Messiah. They're happy. They're happy with this setup where Rome has chosen a king, and that king is called the King of Judea. So Jerusalem's happy with that. That's all we need. We're fine. We don't need a messianic king that's suddenly born like that. No, that's upsetting. So I think that in terms of the story, it's a really good question to get into the story that's being developed in the book of Matthew. Yeah, so anyway, I think that this is interesting to try and hold this together in terms of the scribes in Jerusalem and the chief priests. Yeah, they all know, well, Bethlehem's where, if there's going to be a Messiah, it'll be from Bethlehem. That's to be expected. So the Messiah to come from Bethlehem, yes. But at the same time, they don't seem too excited to go and have a look. They don't really seem to be wanting it. It's sort of like they're not embracing the idea, or according to the story. Like, I'm not talking about according to the historical reconstruction of all the things that actually happened. We're talking about within the story that we've been given here, within this story episode, as well as how that connects with later on in the other story episodes throughout the book. Okay, so according to this story, is Jerusalem ready or wanting to have a new leader that would be different to Herod the king, that would be different to a king that's been chosen by Rome and that is very pro-Roman, a king that would challenge the Roman sanctioned system. And we can even hear this in the way that the story episode finishes. It's just little old Bethlehem, and yet it's not little old Bethlehem. It's now it's producing a leader who will actually be looking out for the people, taking care of the people, who will be shepherding the people. So this is it's implying that, well, maybe Herod the king is not looking out for the people. Maybe the people's interests. It's not really what Herod is about. Herod's about Rome's interests. And maybe the people at this point in time, the chief priests and scribes of the people in Jerusalem at this moment in time, they're a bit complacent because they're happy with the setup as it's going. They're happy with joining with Rome's power. It's sort of, that's what's creating this resistance to, well, we don't really want someone to challenge Herod's power, this Roman endorsed power that we've got going here. We don't want to upset that. So perhaps that's why they are upset along with Herod. Anyway, so that's just some provisional suggestions for thinking about this first pericope. Herod the king and all Jerusalem with him are troubled. So it's setting up the story for how the story will finish later on in the book when Jesus returns to Jerusalem. The story really seems to be getting going now. We've got action. Movement, lots of movement happening. Magi have travelled from wherever they've travelled from, some other country, and they've arrived in Jerusalem, and they've got a very disturbing question, and this is setting up the story. So yes, it's all sort of happening. It's all. Yeah, here we go. So chapter 2, and we've got 4 more story episodes to look at in Matthew chapter 2.